Hey, future cybersecurity pro, ready to defend the digital realm? Cybercrime is escalating and companies need skilled cybersecurity experts. Join Softafreak Group, a top IT company, and kickstart your career with our 16-week online cybersecurity course. Learn from the best. Our course, crafted by expert cybersecurity professionals, gives you hands-on skills with cutting-edge tools like Wireshark, Metasploit, Nmap, Burp Suite, and more. No prior experience? No problem. We guide you every step of the way. Gain real-world experience with your own virtual computer. Practice in a safe, simulated environment, tackling cyber threats, securing networks, and mastering ethical hacking techniques. We don't just teach you skills, we prepare you for success. Our team helps you craft a standout resume and ace your interviews, ensuring you land your dream job in cybersecurity. Don't wait for cyber threats to strike. Become the solution. Enroll in Softafreak Group's 16-week cybersecurity course today and start your journey to a high-paying career. Visit portal.softafreak.net to sign up now. Call for the USA plus 15029667638 and for Ghana plus 2332687888884. Hey, future cybersecurity pro, ready to defend the digital realm? Cybercrime is escalating and companies need skilled cybersecurity experts. Join Softafreak Group, a top IT company, and kickstart your career with our 16-week online cybersecurity course. Learn from the best. Our course, crafted by expert cybersecurity professionals, gives you hands-on skills with cutting-edge tools like Wireshark, Metasploit, Nmap, Burp Suite, and more. No prior experience? No problem. We guide you every step of the way. Gain real-world experience with your own virtual computer. Practice in a safe, simulated environment, tackling cyber threats, securing networks, and mastering ethical hacking techniques. We don't just teach you skills, we prepare.
Where we are here to learn about cybersecurity, the little things that we can do to make sure we can protect ourselves and be active and prevent any form of attacks. The basic thing that we can learn is important because attackers are smart. A lot of things happen on the internet that we need to know. So we are just here to discuss and talk about all these things. And this threat intelligence seminar, as always, is inspired by Software. And we will just move straight up to what we have for today. So today, as always, it is divided into two parts, right? Our first part is our video awareness training, where you watch a video and we answer the questions on the video. The second part is where we'll be talking about a demonstration or where we'll be doing a presentation. Today, we're looking at network security, and we'll be talking about an intrusion detection system and intrusion prevention system, how we can set both of them up, and how we can make our system stronger to prevent any form of attacks if we're in a company. This is how we could set up an IDS or an IPS, so on and so forth. So we'll talk about that in the second part. So just stick around. Let's do the first part. Let's watch the video. And as we watch the video, we would answer the questions that we have. And from there, we'll move on to the second part where we talk about the IDS, IPS. Okay, let's start straight up.
Get Stuart on the phone.
Stuart Humphrey?
Yes, CEO of Wahoo, that's Stuart Humphrey.
Again, that the number of affected users has swelled to over 500 million, making it the largest data breach in history. Our experts are telling us that the ripple effect could last years, even decades. And again, for anyone watching at home, it cannot be stressed enough. Change your passwords. Even if you think you're not affected, better to be safe than sorry.
Mr. Humphrey for you.
Put him on. You want to tell me why I'm learning about the Wahoo data breach from NNN and not from you, the CEO of the company we're purchasing for $4.8 billion?
Margaret, calm down.
Calm down? They're saying this security breach affects 500 million end users. They're also saying Wahoo execs, including you, became aware of a hacker attempting to sell user data on the darknet 7 months ago. So I want to know, how much did you know? And when did you know it?
For starters, I want to remind you we're on the same team here. Let's try not to forget that. Now, that said, I do know that 7 months ago there was a hacker trying to sell data he claimed he stole through a watering hole attack.
Watering hole attack?
It's where a hacker secretly finds out what websites the company's employees frequently go to, like fantasy football sites, online gaming sites, or industry sites that publish business news. The hacker sends a fake update request that looks like it's coming from the legit website, but really, it's a trick to get the worker to install malware. You never clicked to install an update like that, did you?
No, I would never do something that stupid.
You don't have to be stupid. That's the thing. Hackers are smart, and they're constantly thinking of new ways to trick people. Sometimes, you don't even have to do anything. All it takes is to simply visit a website the hackers have infected, and bam, you're hacked.
How are you supposed to protect against that?
For starters, be mindful of the sites you visit. Try to avoid any that aren't well known or don't appear to be on the up and up. But probably the best way to avoid a watering hole attack is to make sure your programs stay automatically updated by software vendors or your IT department.
Stuart, I'm just not buying it!
We get thousands of hacking attempts and alleged data breaches every year. I mean, we couldn't possibly sort through them all to tell which are real and which are fake.
Well, I can tell you, I'm a firm believer where there's smoke, there's fire. You'll be hearing from our attorneys.
With many experts predicting this breach will ultimately cost Horizon the future its CEO wanted, now that future seems far less certain for both the company and its CEO.
Okay, so I just play the video one more time and then we could proceed and look at the questions if we have.
Get Stuart on the phone.
Stuart Humphrey?
Yes, CEO of Wahoo, that's Stuart Humphrey.
Again, that the number of affected users has swelled to over 500 million, making it the largest data breach in history. Our experts are telling us that the ripple effect could last years, even decades. And again, for anyone watching at home, it cannot be stressed enough. Change your passwords. Even if you think you're not affected, better to be safe than sorry.
Mr. Humphrey for you.
Put him on. You want to tell me why I'm learning about the Wahoo data breach from NNN and not from you, the CEO of the company we're purchasing for $4.8 billion?
Margaret, calm down.
Calm down? They're saying this security breach affects 500 million end users. They're also saying Wahoo execs, including you, became aware of a hacker attempting to sell user data on the darknet 7 months ago. So I want to know, how much did you know? And when did you know it?
For starters, I want to remind you we're on the same team here. Let's try not to forget that. Now, that said, I do know that 7 months ago there was a hacker trying to sell data he claimed he stole through a watering hole attack.
Watering hole attack?
It's where a hacker secretly finds out what websites a company's employees frequently go to, like fantasy football sites, online gaming sites, or industry sites that publish business news. The hacker sends a fake update request that looks like it's coming from the legit website, but really, it's a trick to get the worker to install malware. You never clicked to install an update like that, did you?
No, I would never do something that stupid.
You don't have to be stupid. That's the thing. Hackers are smart, and they're constantly thinking of new ways to trick people. Sometimes you don't even have to do anything. All it takes is to simply visit a website the hackers have infected, and bam, you're hacked.
How are you supposed to protect against that?
For starters, be mindful of the sites you visit. Try to avoid any that aren't well known or don't appear to be on the up and up. But probably the best way to avoid a watering hole attack is to make sure your programs stay automatically updated by software vendors or your IT department.
Stuart, I'm just not buying it!
We get thousands of hacking attempts and alleged data breaches every year. I mean, we couldn't possibly sort through them all to tell which are real and which are fake.
Well, I can tell you, I'm a firm believer where there's smoke, there's fire. You'll be hearing from our attorneys.
With many experts predicting this breach will ultimately cost Horizon the future its CEO wanted. Now, that future seems far less certain for both the company and its CEO.
Okay, so all right, so we have watched the video, and this was about a watering hole attack. Let's see if there are questions that we could take based on this. Let's see if it works. All right, we just only have one question, so I'll just read the question and then we'll look at the, okay. Now we have to check all that apply. And the first is if you have been to a website before and it didn't contain a watering hole attack, it is safe for you to keep visiting as it won't contain a watering hole attack in the future. The next one is saying that it is not only CD website that contains watering hole attack. A very prominent website has been hacked and injected with watering hole attack as well. The third option says that don't follow any prompts from any website to download software updated without first checking with your IT. The last option says that keeping your software applications up to date, including your antivirus software, will lessen the likelihood that a watering hole attack will be successful. How many of these things do you think applies?
Third one.
So the third one,
And then
okay,
the fourth one.
and then the fourth one too. And then what again? I think we can select it, I think, because it's here. But what about the first one? Do we have a case for the first one?
I don't know.
Anybody think we have a case for the first one?
I think the first one does not apply.
So, okay. So the idea of a watering hole attack is the fact that it is a website that we've been visiting, right? And somebody can just hack the website because they want to target us. So a watering hole attack is knowing that these people might come to, let's say, to watch football on these websites. Let's say I am the target and I like my sports. So every Saturday, I would open this particular website to watch football. Right? Now, they know that I come here and I am the target. Maybe last week I went there, nothing happened. But they know that I'll come there next weekend. So they are targeting the website and trying to hack the website so that they could come to me. That's the idea of a watering hole. More like using something or using a website as a victim to us. Of that. So the fact that we visited the website before today and it didn't contain any attack doesn't mean the website will not ever, like, it is safe to keep visiting in future. So we don't know what will happen in future. As long as we are the target, then question the first applies and even the second applies. But sometimes the new website have been hacked and injected with watering hole attacks because they want to get to after the idea of watering hole attacks, and it's something we could learn. So whenever we are visiting websites, we should be careful.
I think, Thomas, I think
Yeah.
the first one says doesn't apply because it says that it won't contain the watering attack in the future. That's why we said it doesn't
Oh,
apply.
okay.
So
As
the
won't. Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Naya. Okay, so it won't. Okay. All right. I understand that. Perfect. Okay. So the idea is to establish what watering hole attack is. Let's move on to what we have. I think the reason why my machine is moving slow is because I have two virtual machines running. That is why it is behaving like this. But I have two virtual machines running, a Kali Linux machine and an Ubuntu machine. Both of these machines will be using for our IDS, IPS today. Now, what is an IDS? What is an IPS? Why do we even need these things, right? Now, in a typical company or in an industry or anywhere, yes, we have layers of defense. Right? We have an anti-malware that blocks viruses. So we know, okay, we will block viruses, so on and so forth. We have a firewall that would block or look at the network traffic and block things based on rules. So firewall will look at your rules and it will block something based on that. Now the IDS and the IPS also are another security tool that would look at the traffic coming in. So if the traffic is coming in and what is coming into the computer or into the network, it is something that is suspect. This would block them. So if it is an IDS would look at the alerts coming in. IDS will look at the traffic coming in and will generate an alert. Sorry, IPS, the difference is one is prevention, one is detection. So we look at how we could make one detection, how we could make one prevention. Because we look at signatures, we look at behaviors of things on the network. If the behavior of whatever is happening on the network is abnormal, based on the engine this particular thing has, then we'll say that or the IDS or IPS will either block it or alert it. So the difference between IPS and IDS is that IDS is a detection mode. It's just like a detective, just like a security camera that is just looking at whatever is happening. And IPS is like somebody who would arrest whatever is coming in. It wouldn't just be a security camera and say we are monitoring. No, it would be and look at whatever is coming in. If it looks at whatever coming in and it's bad, it would just block whatever it is. So IDS detection, IPS prevention. So prevention blocks, detection alerts. That's the difference between the two. So let me just log into this particular server and let me just go here and make this one bigger at the end of the day. So what we have here is a pfSense firewall. pfSense is a network firewall. We put pfSense on a network to monitor the things coming in and out. With pfSense and with every network, we have two interfaces. So we have the local area network and then we have the wide area network. So the interfaces are here, the local area and the wide area. So in a typical place, the local area network is your individual computer. So if it's a company, the workers, their computers are the local area network. The wide area network is connecting to the internet. how we connect to the internet, things that happen on the internet. That's the wide area network. So this firewall will sit between your local area network and your wide area network. So in between, things coming from your internal computers would pass through the firewall and get outside. Things coming from the outside would also pass through the firewall before it gets to your inside. That is what the two interfaces are. And then what we are going to talk about is an IDS IPS tool called SNOT. SNOT is an IPS IDS tool that we mostly use, and we put it in a network. This is SNOT, and this is its logo, right? Now, SNOT is maintained by Cisco. So Cisco production or security company is the one who is in charge of this particular SNOT or this particular application. Now, this application runs in two modes, IPS mode and IDS mode. So IPS, as I explained, blocks the traffic, blocks all the bad traffic. IDS will detect and generate an alert, right? Now, on this pfSense firewall that we have, we could install SNOT easily by going to your system and going to package manager. And in your package manager, you would see a list of available packages that you can also install. So the list of available packages, you will see SNOT there. And there's also another IDS IPS site. It's also another tool that you can use if you don't want SNOT and you want Suricata. This is also a different idea. So Suricata is here if you want that. And SNOT is also SNOT. Okay, I already have SNOT, so let me see. That's why it's not showing, because I already have SNOT installed. So it's not an available package, it's an installed package. So this is where you see your package, and then you just click on it to install. The idea is that you shouldn't run two different IDS, IPS at the same time, or there will be an issue, or there will be a lot of alerts, and the system might not even be able to handle it. So if you are doing Suricata, do Suricata. If you are doing SNOT, do SNOT. Okay, now let's look at SNOT. So let's say if you have installed SNOT, when you go to installed packages, you see SNOT here on the left-hand side of the firewall. So SNOT is here. Okay, no problem. Now let's go to set SNOT up. Let's go and configure SNOT, because with pfSense, you could just integrate a lot of things to make the system stronger. Because today we are looking at layered security. pfSense is a firewall. So if this is your first time, pfSense is a firewall. A firewall look at rules. So you could say you are allowing this to happen. You are allowing this to happen. You are blocking this to happen. So let's say with a firewall, you could say you are only allowing your systems to be communicating on 3 different ports only. So let's say port 443 for HTTPS, port 80 for HTTP, and maybe port 333 for DNS resolution, so that whenever somebody is going to the internet, the DNS will work. So 333, 80, 443 can be the port you only allow. It is a rule. So any other connection, because the firewall is only allowing 3 things, that is whitelisted. You've whitelisted the 3 ports. Everything else is out. So firewall look at these rules. You look at these things. The rules you set. You want to block this IP address, you do that and you block it. You want to allow this IP address, you do that and you block it. Firewall mostly runs on rules. Right? So if you don't set a rule, a firewall would find it hard to block it. But once we add a different layer to the firewall, that's the IDS IPS. IDS IPS looks at the signature, looks at the behavior of the traffic coming in. So let's say that you've only allowed 443, 80, and 53. Fine. That means that whenever somebody is visiting the internet, it will allow them. Now, the IDS would also look at the ports that is open and say that, okay, you only open 443 and 80. Now, let me look at the traffic coming through those 3 ports you've opened to see if it behaves maliciously or it behaves in a way that you could say, oh, okay, it is good or it is bad. So the IDS IPS looks at all the traffic coming in based on its signature, based on how it moves, based on how the traffic is coming in. It can detect and say, this is a bad traffic, let me block it. This is a good traffic, let me block it. So this would also add a different layer of security to your organization. Yes, last week we did the chapter 1 where we looked at how we could block IP addresses or if you block people based on your location. So geolocation, geo IP blocking, we did the last week. This week we are looking at IDS IPS. So once you have it set up, you go to your services under this PFN, maybe a different firewall also have something different. Okay, so you go to your services and you see Snort here and you click on Snort. Once you click on Snort, I have Snort already set up on my LAN and my WAN. But the first thing you do with Snort is you come to the global settings. Yeah. Now with the global settings, there are a lot of things that you have to configure before Snort runs. It is just something that controls update because Snort will look at a few information to add it to its database. It will not say something is malicious how, because in its database, it is written that things are malicious. So we have different things that you must enable. So the first one is not VRT, not vulnerability research team rule. So this is the first one. First, with this one, you have to register and have an account on Snort. So you see, you can register for free. What I'm using is a free version. We also have a paid version. So the difference between the free version and the paid version is that updates would delay for 30 days. So the update that the paid version subscribers will get today, I will get to the next 30 days. That is the only difference between this and that. But once you log into or once you get an account, you need your OINC master code. The name is quite funny because Snort is about a pig. So OINC master. Once you go in there and you log in, you see your code. Just pick your code and come and paste it in. Once you log into Snort or you create an account with Snort, you just get a code, you copy the code, and you just pick it in, and that is that. Then we also have Snort community rules. These are also free rules created by different communities, right? So these are just new, different things you could add up to the Snort system. Then the third one is the ET Open and the ET Pro. So the ET Open is just free, right? ET meaning that emerging threats, all the emerging threats that are coming up, this is not established. This can be a threat. We could add it to our Snort so that Snort will capture it and so on and so forth. So that is the ET Open. The Pro is Pro. So the difference is the days and what it covers. So with the ET Pro, it is more advanced. You get more information. The ET Open, you don't actually get more information as compared to the ET Open. So if this was an organization, you would put this, or you make sure they have enterprise environment, they have enterprise subscription, sorry. So you could set all these things up and you wouldn't have an issue. Then we also have the Open App ID. This is just looking at social media to see if somebody is trying to log into your social media. So open up Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, if you have it on your network, and somebody is trying to log into your social media, it would flag it based on these things. That is what the Open ID and all these things are all part of the rules and things. So with the enable Open ID, Open Text rules, you could also add your own rules. You could maintain and add your own rules to this particular IDS, and that will be fine. The last one we have is the update interval. If you click all these things, how long do you want your system to be updated? Because Snort will take feed from its system. So the VRT, the Open ID information, the ET Open information, all these things, Snort would update itself. How long do you want updates to happen? So let's say every day, you could set a time. Maybe you don't want this to conflict with your network. You could set, okay, I want Snort update to be coming in every 7 days, something. and the time the update will run, so on and so forth. And the last one here is to remove block hosts. So whenever a system is trying to do something bad on your network and it is caught and is blocked, when do you want it to be removed from the system? When do you want this system to be open? Sometimes, like every blocked IP address is bad. You see that way. Sometimes, maybe it's a good IP address, but Snot might see it as a bad something. So how long do you want Snot to block a host if you set it at the intrusion prevention mode? If it's an detection mode, then these things wouldn't happen. But if it's a prevention mode, then you will just do that. And the next day, the host that you blocked will go out of the system until they also come back